Hey y'all, Contessa here with your daily dose of nonsense on the web. As always, I appreciate you all being here. If you wouldn't mind, please hit that thumbs up button on your way out. And also, if you feel so inclined, please hit the subscribe button. I promise, shortly we will be introducing other content besides the current story we've been telling over and over again. We will continue to call out the misinformation that they have intentionally laid throughout this story. As always, everything in this video is my opinion and my opinion only. We are using this content based on the Fair Use Act. And yes, unfortunately, once again, the content comes from MollyGoLightly. This too is another video from September 21st. And as you know, if you've been following along in this story, her story about this particular piece of the story has changed numerous times, just like everything else does. It changes like the day. Let's get into it and see what she says.
I'm live. I can't take any calls.
I've been wanting to say this for so long because I heard her ringtone the other day and I was like, that is extremely fitting. I have never heard a ringtone that is more fitting than that one for her. Absolutely fitting.
I want to say Miss Letitia is watching. So if everyone could just remember that all she's ever asked for were prayers.
Miss Letitia is watching, she says. So please just remember that all Letitia has asked for was prayers. Well, first and foremost, that's not true, because Letitia herself has stated that she came to social media asking for help. She has acknowledged that. I don't know why you refuse to acknowledge that and continue to lie on her behalf. Letitia is in your chat. What you don't want people doing is asking her questions. That's what you don't want, because you don't want anybody to have to answer.
I can't listen. I'm not going to stop. Okay. All right. Listen.
I found this very odd that somebody that is close enough to her is asking her to stop. Somebody is texting her, asking her to stop. Not exactly sure what they're asking her to stop doing, but she doesn't care whatsoever.
All right. Listen, I'm tired of this, and this is going to end right now. All right.
Remember, this was September 21st. This was all going to come to an end on September 21st. Well, you all know that that didn't happen, because here we are. And just yesterday, she was saying that even Patreons are still sending Letitia money.
Here it goes.
Here it goes. More lies coming right up.
By the time they're done watching her make a fool out of herself, then they can come over here and watch this video. All right. You can come up here if you want. You're always welcome. If not, please let me do my thing. Thank you.
So do you guys think that was her assistant or her partner that she was getting snippy with? I'm assuming what was happening was Michelle was live at the same time and they were worried about Michelle having the views at the moment. And Molly's like, I don't care. They can come over here afterwards. Obviously for her, it's always about numbers. And that's why her team obviously reached out and said, hey, this is going on. But she's got to get this all out here right now. Right now.
All right. All right. So the other day we had something that looked a little weird. This is what the actual police report looked like. So it's Savannah Police Department, donation scam, blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah.
Hold on. I might be seeing things. So just bear with me here for a second, because I got to walk this through. You know, I might be seeing things. Didn't Molly call Rabbit a liar for this exact same report that Molly just showed? Did anybody remember that happening?
Savannah Police Department report 8/31/22. Reported time 2027. Location Hempstead Avenue. Customer service desk 111737. Report title donation scam. Approving officer 671. Blah blah blah. Okay, so the person summary: Letitia Bias against Danielle. Now, she is a white female born in 1995.
I must be seeing things, because I could swear that Molly is looking at and reading off the same exact report that the people who filed said report posted and gave to creators for verification. I could swear that that's exactly what Molly's reading. But Molly called it fake and that people were lying about that report. Anybody remember that? It looks pretty real to me considering Molly was able to access the same exact information. Now, granted, you can decide what you think about the content in the police report, but the report has always been real. And word to the wise, there's not just one either. So I don't know why she's only showing you one report and only will talk about a partial bit of the narrative here, but we'll wait and see what comes out of that too, I guess, down the road.
She gives a fake address in Seattle.
My question would be is how do you know it's fake, Molly?
Okay. She gives a fake address in Seattle, which was not good. And this is why.
Oh, wait, I remember how you know about her address. It's because you doxed her, correct? That's right. After she asked for a refund, Letitia gave you her information and you posted that information and talked about it on a live stream. I remember that. So chances are you got her background information too?
This will, one of the reasons why this will go nowhere. So,
did you know that sometimes addresses can be protected?
If you need to know the truth, and Mrs. Letitia is fine with me doing this, but enough is enough.
We've been talking about this some recently about we have no way of verifying that that's actually Letitia behind that account that is supposedly in Molly's comments. We do know that Letitia has had many advocates that have spoke for her or on her behalf at many times throughout this story. But whatever the case may be, Molly is putting it out there to her following and everybody else that Letitia is giving her stamp of approval, that this is okay with Letitia. She verified this with Letitia and got her approval before talking about this on live. And you also notice it has been days since this was done and Letitia hasn't corrected any of it.
I told you I was holding on to some information. This goes back weeks, people. People were saying, oh, Letitia's going to be arrested. She was like, arrested? Oh, for this donation scam, blah, 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 blah. They're looking for us. She's like, what, you looking for me?
Once again, it's more of this inflated and inflamed bullshit. What was stated all along is that there was a report filed against Letitia for not issuing a refund that Letitia herself stated she would refund. And it was stated that a report had been filed. Never once has anybody with facts in the case said that the police were looking for Letitia to arrest Letitia. It was stated that they were looking for an address to contact Letitia.
So she went down there to the police station. She went to the court. She went everywhere.
Of course, it'll never happen, but I would love to see these text messages between Letitia and Molly of how this went down. Where did Letitia actually go? And what is Letitia actually telling Molly that happened? And why would she go to the courthouse? Why would she not just pick up the phone and call the police department and talk to them about this report? She's got the case number. It has been given to her numerous times.
She showed her ID and gave her social security number, and they said, we don't have anything that we're looking for you. And she says, okay. So she just went home, didn't think anything about it.
Did she try to give him the case number? That's my question. She gave him her ID and her social security number, but did she try to give him the case number of the report? Did you try that one? Maybe? I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking way too rationally. I'm probably really thinking way too rationally, but I'm trying to go along with their train of thought. I'm trying to play devil's advocate and get in their brains and see how they operate. And I'm struggling really badly. And if I ever do end up being able to process how they think, help.
So then this rabbit check.
Yay! Free advertising. Thank you, MollyGoLightly. Shout out to my girl, Down the Rabbit Hole News. If you haven't checked her out, please go do so. She is actually amazing. She is very unbiased and very fact-driven. I absolutely appreciate Rabbit and all she does. Molly won't say her name. She just refers to her as the Rabbit Chick.
Was being used as a pawn of some type to put out this information. And it was a little bit lackluster with very little information. And it was a bit on the incorrect side.
I find it comical that Molly once again is trying to accuse everybody of being pawns in this and putting this information out. Rabbit put factual information out. She said a report had been filed with Savannah PD a report has been filed with Savannah PD. The same exact report that Molly has in her hand and says that she has had for weeks. But when Rabbit posted it, it was all fake.
Now, I knew the truth. And at that time, me, Justin, and Goose were told not to tell anyone.
And the excuses, of course, start. She cannot be honest and say, look, I lied to you. I didn't want anybody to realize that this was going on. Yes, there is a police report that has been filed. Yes, it is being followed up on. Instead of just being honest with you, she is continuing to lie. Now she's going to lie again and say, oh, I knew about this and we just weren't supposed to say anything. No, those were choices again you made, Molly.
And we kept that promise. So,
can anybody answer me if they've ever known Molly to keep any promises of hers at all?
It was about 10:30 at night or something like that. And all of YouTube is going crazy. Oh, Letitia's about to be arrested, missing person, blah, 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 blah. And all three of us get this at the same time.
Yep, that's it. I had to have already left on vacation in my mind before this happened because I missed all of that. I missed all of these rumors that Molly's talking about that were going on and blowing up YouTube. There was a police report filed. That's it.
And then at the same time, we're hearing these rumors that Letitia gave me and Justin and Goose the boot.
For me, once again, all that comes to mind is
take this job and shove it. I ain't working here no more.
Oops, she just talked about getting the boot, not taking the job and shoving it.
I was like, what do you mean the boot? Like, she's not talking to us. I was like, well, why would they think that? We never did anything to her. We've helped her. We love her. We love her like family.
Interesting to me right here that Molly says, we didn't do anything to her. Really, Molly? You've been guiding her and giving her advice all along, but you didn't do anything to her. Granted, she willingly took your advice, it seems like, but...
So, Goose, who's very concerned, who talks to her the most, because me and Justin are very fucking busy.
In case you're wondering, who is Goose? Goose is a YouTube loudmouth just like Molly. Goose sits up on panels and runs her mouth and supposedly is an advocate for Letitia. She's like the 5th or 6th in line of advocates that have supposedly helped Letitia and or been the advocate for Letitia. It's not something that I would even be proud to tell people at this point in time because she's the replacement. And she too has been doing nothing but passing misinformation off. It's like all of them.
Thank God for Goose is the one that is most closest to Letitia.
So would it be that Letitia is giving information to Goose and then Goose is giving limited information to Molly and Justin? Or is Letitia giving information to all three of them and Molly's picking and choosing what she's telling her audience?
We all get on the phone and we call her.
I've heard through the grapevine that a few of them are really fond of the three-ways. But, oh, I'm talking calls. Sorry.
Okay. Now I'm leaving a lot of things out because some things are need-to-know basis.
What exactly would qualify somebody to be in the need to know? Exactly what's the qualifications of who doesn't need to know and who is entitled to know? Because from my understanding, Molly is the only one entitled to know this information. Well, her and Justin and Goose, but they seem to know very limited or mostly misinformation. So what makes a person qualify to be in the know?
I'm going to leave out. And Miss Letitia, Goose, Justin, you know what I'm talking about. I'm just going to stick to what this is about.
That right there that she does of leading her audience to believe that there's more information that she's not disclosing to them is a way of trying to captivate her audience. She is trying to put it in their heads that there is more to this. There's private information that she can't release. And unfortunately, a lot of these people trust her and believe these things and they will run with it and they will say, oh, there's so much more going on, but we can't know because only limited information can know and because it's so private, and that just inflames her audience because they all are just like her. They love to run with misinformation, the drama, the theatrics. It's all a show to them. And this is why she does shit like that. Even her saying to Justin, Goose, and Letitia right there, you know, I'm only going to say this, this, and this is a way of seeking approval, like that they too know these things. And what's funny to me is I would love to see how much they go along with.
So we contact her, all of us on the phone, and say, Miss Letitia, these mongoloids on friggin' Facebook are running with this.
Hold on. We got to rewind that for a second.
Mongoloids on friggin' Facebook are running with this.
Well, she surely did just once again say that. But I'll let you decide how you feel about that. I just think Molly needs a dictionary. She really needs a dictionary to understand the meaning of these words.
That you're missing as a listed person, and it's.
I have to rewind, but she just said you're missing as a listed person. Molly, you're speaking in so many circles that you actually are now confusing yourself.
Everything's retracted, and then blah blah blah. We read it to her, and she's like, missing person. I'm here with my husband. They're sitting home watching TV.
I find the voice she uses for Letitia so offensive.
She's like, they know where I live. So Miss Letitia, Goose continues to read it, and I hear Miss Letitia say, yeah, that's Danielle.
Of course, Letitia knew exactly who it was because she had been communicating with this person. She had agreed to refund this person. Did you forget about all of that? Why aren't you telling your following that bit of it? That Letitia had been communicating with her and other people who had asked for refunds. This isn't a single person incident. There are multiple people. But yes, she was aware of who it was that filed. She knew.
And she goes on and 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 on. So as part of this report, there's more. And then they give this with Letitia. This is her Cash App. And then this is where they throw me in it. Okay.
I love how she points out that they throw her into this. Like she has nothing to do with any of this whatsoever. And that her being mentioned in any of this would be so displaced. That is funny to me because she knows exactly why she was included in this report. But if this is any indication of what's to come, I hope Letitia realizes right then and there that Molly definitely seems more concerned that she was mentioned in this report than anything else. That seems more bothersome to her than the fact that Letitia has a report filed against her. Always more about Molly, of course.
Oh, that MollyGoLightly. We just hate MollyGoLightly. Hey, Juju Positive. Love you.
Have you ever thought that maybe the people that actually do hate you have reasons behind their hate for you? Because I hate your behaviors 100%. I can absolutely say that I hate the way you behave and or act. And you absolutely have earned the title that you have on social media. You've earned all of it.
I was actually thinking about calling you earlier, but I had so much going on in my mind.
I think of the next lies she's going to tell.
So Goose says, why don't you, if you get time, tomorrow, why don't you head down to the police and see what this shit is about? And she says, no, me and my husband are putting our shoes on. We're going down there right now.
Again, at 10:30 at night, why wouldn't you just pick up the phone and call? First of all. Secondly, wouldn't her advocates advise her that she probably needs to wait to talk to a detective? I mean, that would be my assumption. Again, these advocates are self-proclaimed advocates. But I thought it was claimed previous to this that the police department knew where Letitia was.
And so at about 11:30, we hear from her, and she said that when they got there, that the woman had said, we would like you to just come back tomorrow morning and speak with an investigator or a detective. And she said, okay, so she went back.
Again, a simple phone call would have answered that. And how do they know that Letitia actually went there? Do they have proof that Letitia actually went there? Or did she actually pick up the phone and call, but they're just making it into a bigger story that she left her home in the middle of the night?
She went back. She said, oh, there's these things on the internet saying that someone made a complaint that I'm a scam artist and blah, blah, blah. And she said, I have this. She told them the whole story, blah, 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 blah. Police said in Savannah, told Letitia Bias that they're tired of this.
So let me get this straight. The first night she went down there, they told her to come back in the morning. She went back in the morning And the police officers, without any investigation, really any proof of anything, they told Letitia Bias that they are tired of this. Is that what I'm getting, what she's attempting to tell us?
They're tired of this and this complaint, that they have determined that it is not a scam.
So let me get this straight. Letitia Bias goes down there 10:30 at night the first time. She's turned around because she needs to go back and talk to an investigator. She goes back the next day, speaks to an investigator. The investigator tells her that they're tired of this complaint and that there is no scam, but yet they have no proof of anything and they didn't investigate anything. Is that what we're being told? But Molly, didn't you also say that this was a fake report previous to? So you're telling me without any evidence whatsoever, they just said, oh, yeah, let's just ignore this report completely. But isn't there more than one report and more than one person that has made phone calls to Savannah? Oh, wait, we're not telling people that yet, right? You want to wait and drag that out too. Okay, we can play that game. But yes, there's been multiple people that have made multiple complaints.
And that also, the big teller of all was the fact that, and I've said this for like 2 months, GoFundMe never took it down.
Wait, how are you bringing up GoFundMe? Can you explain that? Because this has nothing to do with GoFundMe. These donations, as you like to call them, were sent on Cash App. This has absolutely nothing to do with GoFundMe. Only one refund, to my understanding, was ever issued through GoFundMe, possibly two, but that's handled internally with GoFundMe. This is because all of these other payment apps were used. Cash App. So while you're trying to tell your audience that this is all still on the up and up and trying to pass off that it's on the up and up because the GoFundMe is still active, when in reality, GoFundMe has absolutely nothing to do with this situation except for that is another payment app that was used to collect donations. That's it. That's all.
What the police told her is, you have a choice. If you don't want to give it back, if you don't want to give that donation back, you legally don't have to.
This is where things get a little bit more sticky because it's not as straightforward as she's trying to make it. It's not like this was just a fundraiser and people knew exactly what they were donating for. Unfortunately, that's a big piece of this, is because people feel misled in what their donations were actually going towards and what this money has actually been spent on. That is more of a concern. And once again, in time, we will all find out what the police department says.
But we're done. We are concluding this. We're done. And Miss Letitia did give us an update.
Okay, so Molly is saying that Savannah PD said they've concluded this investigation and that this is done. Remember, this was September 21st. I happen to know for a fact that this was still an ongoing investigation and the report was still open. Granted, I don't know what's going to come of it because, again, I don't know all the bits and pieces of the refund status, the donations, all of that. I know, like everything else, you guys know. We've seen it unfold right in front of our eyes. So what will happen with it? None of us know exactly at this point. But it's not closed and shut like Molly likes to try and pass off. And just because Molly says it's closed by Savannah PD doesn't mean that that's actually the truth. In fact, we've seen messages after the fact that they're saying that no, this report is still open. But again, this isn't the only report that was made.
And bada bing, bada boom. We all just sat back and just watched everyone who was saying, oh, Molly's going to jail. Can't wait till Molly and Letitia go down. And we're all sitting there like,
it's always got to be this big, inflated, dramatic event. Of course, people want to see her punished for her behaviors and what people are sick and tired of watching happen. Of course, people are excited about that. But there's a lot more to this than just what meets the eye. There is a lot that actually we don't know 100%, especially when it comes to Molly and Letitia's relationship and who is in control of actually what. That will be an interesting piece to watch unfold after this investigation is completed. I have a feeling this investigation will, in one way, shape, or form, open a lot of doors with a lot of answers that we've been missing this entire story. But at the same time, we've got to be realistic. We might not ever get a lot of the answers of who is driving what in this relationship.
We've never done anything wrong.
And everyone is entitled to their own opinions on that.
Letitia Bias is not responsible for the fake cash apps that people donated to.
I have to laugh about this because this is such an intentional setup. And you'll see as this goes on exactly what she's doing with this. But that's just not a thing. That's not an issue. People are not complaining and or asking questions about these fake Cash App accounts. I have not seen one person claim that they donated to one of these accounts and tried to get a refund. Not one. In fact, the only person that I've seen say that they donated to the wrong account was somebody from Molly's comment section. And yes, you too will see that coming right up. If you watch Molly's chat from time to time, you probably have noticed there is things that are intentionally planted. There will be accounts that you've never seen comment before that will pop in her chat, and magically, Molly picks out this random person's comment that's never commented before, never been seen before, and it's always something like this that kind of backs up or puts foundation to her claims.
In fact, I already made a video, if you haven't seen it, that Miss Letitia was, in fact, a victim.
And once again, we all know that they're trying to paint Letitia as a victim because they're saying that Letitia granted $4,000 in random requests to people that had not donated to her. That instead of refunding these donations like they claimed they would do, she magically selected every request, not a refund, every request. So what they're saying is Letitia is a victim because people scammed her. They sent her requests, and again, she selected to pay every one of the requests. She magically missed all of the refund requests and only selected the requests from people that had never donated to her before. But Letitia isn't new to Cash App. That's something else people are forgetting. She's had these payment apps. She owned a business. So how she didn't know some of this stuff beforehand, I'm not really sure of. Because I don't think Letitia is as incompetent as they're trying to make her seem.
And why these people continually try to harass her, I'll never freaking understand.
I'll use your own words right back at you. Show it. Show the proof. If you don't have the proof to back up your claims that she's being harassed, then shut the fuck up about it. Isn't that what you basically told Katie Joy too? If she couldn't provide proof of this harassment, to not talk about it? Those were your words, right? But you haven't showed this.
People are using her and her name for clickbait.
Speaking of clickbait, Molly, have you changed all your thumbnails with all the kids in them? I bet you haven't. You want to talk about clickbait and or the photos you select for your thumbnails? Should we talk about that? No, you probably don't want to go down that road, do you?
And they keep using these scare tactics, which are clearly not working. I haven't been arrested. I'm still waiting for these cops that everyone's telling me you're going to get arrested. There's an open investigation. Where are these fucking cops?
I'm not really sure who she's talking about because everything's such broad statements, but I have yet to see anybody that's using scare tactics. Unlike her, who sits and screams at a blank screen for days on end, none of us are trying to scare anybody. In fact, us telling the truth is the furthest thing from scaring people. When Rabbit came live and talked about the report, she actually was doing it because she was concerned about Letitia not getting this information and potentially something greater happening. Do you miss that, Molly?
Oh, yeah, it's an ongoing investigation. Oh, sure. Right.
She is so bothered by this investigation. She cannot admit that, yes, it's still an open report. It's not a closed report, but she refuses to admit that. and she'll just continue to spin the circle.
Gotcha. Exactly. It's sad. Leave her alone.
What's crazy to me is that they fail to realize that their choices have pushed things to this level. They had choices. They made those choices. Their choices led to this.
Yeah. Sad. Leave her alone. Just leave this poor woman alone. She's not going to jail. I think you all know that this poor woman is not a scam artist.
A lot of people still don't exactly know that.
Leave her alone. It's it. Just leave her alone. You guys, and what about Marvon?
So I guess because Princess Molly says that we're all supposed to stop asking questions, we should probably stop asking questions. Because, whatever Princess Molly says, we're supposed to abide by. And once again, she shows no proof that anybody is even asking questions. But that's what she doesn't want. You're not supposed to ask anything. Take her word for all of it and just run with it. Continue to pass off misinformation, and that will just be great. Okay?
You guys are making this whole thing about trying to villainize the mother of the victim.
And again, that's just not true. As everybody knows, we are not trying to villainize anybody. A lot of us actually started this and asked questions because we thought there was potential of Letitia being used and being a victim of a lot of other people involved. But as things unfolded and as the facts have came out, we see that that's just not the case. Nobody is trying to villainize her. You guys are being called out on your own behaviors and things that you've chose to participate in. That's it. That's all. Nobody is on a mission to do anything but seek answers and the truth. The only villain and bad guys and all of this stuff that you are trying to guide your followers that it's this big dramatic story, it's really not. But that's how you've got to sell it because it makes it better, right? You got to fill it up with all this drama and bullshit.
What kind of people are you? I don't understand this. Where do you people come from? Who raised you?
I was raised by the wolves. Does anybody get that reference? Anybody?
And I hate to say that, but who raised you?
Well, since you kindly asked once again, I will explain. My mom and dad raised me with help from my grandparents. I also have a stepmom and I had stepdads. So let's see here. You pick. A lot of amazing adults actually raised me. Or you could say that I was raised by farm animals too, considering I grew up on a farm, because they taught me a lot about life and how to handle people like you. See, I'm used to playing in the pens with swine. I love it. That's why I have no problem playing with you in the pen.
What kind of life do you live that you have a heart that is so rotten that you could do this to this woman?
We all know that we're terrible people because we've asked questions. How dare we ask questions and or seek truthful answers? How dare we, considering there is a victim in this story?
To her husband, to his siblings, to his father.
And once again, of course, she goes right back into these emotional polls of what did Dre do to her husband and to the family. That's what she tries to always spin it right back around to. But Dre did this. That's what she always tries to make her audience think about is this is nobody else's fault besides Dre. Everybody else just reacted to Dre's actions and or decisions. That's it. Nobody else had choices to make. Nobody else did anything at all. It was all Dre. That's what they're trying to say. Granted, I don't believe that.
I don't care what you say about me, but God almighty.
Of course, we know that Molly loves the attention. She wants the attention because she has tried to play the victim card herself many times throughout this. It is something she's used to doing.
Why? And you people have children. What are you teaching these children? You know what? Probably not much because you're on the internet all day obsessing over me.
Well, considering my children already understand that there's consequences for your actions, and the choices that you make, I think they're way ahead of some adults we know. But, hey, that's just my opinion.
You donated to the wrong Cash App, Nay? That was my mistake. I would never think of asking Letitia to pay for my mistake. You know what? Report the other ones.
Wouldn't you know, here comes that account that she just magically sees and reads this comment of. She is so selective but intentional with the comments she chooses to read. And this is, again, one of those moments because that has not been said at all. Nobody has claimed that they donated to the wrong Cash App.
All she ever asked for was prayers.
So I'm confused once again by why she's trying to spin it that Letitia only asked for prayers. Because if Letitia only asked for prayers, then who was the one pushing the fundraisers? Who was the one that came up with the story of what she needed all of this money for? Molly, you want to answer that?
She went over to that dickless guy's channel and friggin' practically pleaded with him, please leave my children alone.
I don't think anybody has gone after Letitia's children. Pointing out things that they've said on social media is not attacking the children. In fact, I don't think that's happened at all.
He's worthless. Do you know that? Did you know that I spent half a day finding out that whatever I'm going against is an absolute worthless piece of crap who's a deadbeat on top of it?
I love when she goes into these self-reflection moments because to me, it seems like she's talking about herself. You can have your own opinion there, but every time she does this, I feel like it's complete self-reflection because really she fits into everything she says about everybody else. And that's hysterical and insanity at the same time. But she loves to throw shade at Uni. She continues to do it. And she continues to act like she's going to take him to court, but then she does all of this BS.
And I'm sitting here thinking, because it's actually not even a small claims.
Was this her attorney from the BBC line again?
Hundreds of videos, exactly. So sad, but they keep attacking me. Makes you wonder why, Letitia.
So again, they call it an attack. If you ask questions, that's what they're calling an attack. Anybody asking questions or saying that they want to see proof of what the money was spent on is an attack. If you ask questions that they don't want to answer or they can't answer, it's automatically deemed an attack or that the family is being harassed. Yet that's just not true at all.
Satan runs rampant on YouTube. It really does.
Wait, now Satan's hanging out in the bushes too?
But you know what? That Andrea chick, she's praising Jehovah all over the place. Dude, she's a Satanist. You can see it in her eyes.
Once again, remember, Letitia keeps saying that she's never done anything to Dre. But Molly is sitting here bashing Dre's religion, calling her a Satanist. And Letitia is in the comments, is what Molly is claiming. Letitia is basically condoning this behavior.
She's evil as shit. Look at these little people around her that are willing to do anything that she says.
Would love to see the list of people they assume are doing things for Dre. I would love to see the list of people or creators that they think are doing stuff for Dre.
She doesn't give a rat's ass about them. She doesn't care if they eat or not. She doesn't care if they have a roof over their head. She barely knows their name.
You all knew it was going to come at some point in time. Here comes the high-pitched screech that she likes to do when she's trying to make these even more dramatic than they already are.
I'm sorry, Miss Letitia, but I'm glad that we could just put this aside and let's show these people. And you said, yep, that's Danielle.
So Molly is trying to once again tell her followings that this is no big deal, that they're just going to move on past it. But I find it interesting because Letitia, again, is sitting in the comments and doesn't correct Molly whatsoever. She doesn't say anything or speak up and say, hey, no, this is a little bit bigger of a deal. The report's real, and I'm going to have to go through the process of all of this. That's got to be stressful. And Molly's sitting here saying, oh, no big deal. We're just going to move on past it. Back into, oh, you know it was Danielle.
Oh, she didn't like her name being put out there? What you did was a slimy thing. You knew this woman was suffering. And what did you want to do, Danielle? You wanted to make her suffer even more.
And that's not how the story goes, of course, but Molly will continue to pass off anything she can as misinformation. Danielle gave a donation. She asked for a refund. Letitia actually told her she would be refunded. Then she failed to meet her promise to refund Danielle. Therefore, a police report was made, and here we are.
The police? Did you really believe she was a scam artist?
It becomes a valid question when people refuse to answer questions.
Why did you give a fake address? I'll put it in Patreon, guys. Wait till you see what she told the police. She lied to the police. Why do you think I said that it's a fake report?
I personally think you said it was a fake report because you don't want your followers to understand that there is a lot that you have been lying to them about and intentionally misleading them about. I think that's why you said it was a fake report. Not because what's in it you can prove is fake, but because you didn't want them to go research and investigate anything for themselves. That's what I feel. But you can continue to pass it off however you want.
She didn't use her home address.
Why don't you tell the class, Molly, how you know that that's not her address? Oh, wait, but that would mean you would have to admit that you've already doxed her publicly. As soon as she asked for a refund, you doxed her. A lot of people that asked for refunds, you've doxed. Letitia sent you their information after they requested refunds. You took that information to social media and put it out publicly. That's how that went down. Why don't you tell him that, Molly?
Then yes. And they told Miss Letitia, we are so done with this.
So they told Letitia that they're so done with this. They're so over it, right? But that's why the report is still open. And again, you're not addressing the fact that there was multiple people that made reports. Why aren't you addressing that? You're only stuck on one. Is that because it's the only one that's been made public this far?
Are we suing her? Who? Danielle? No. Me and Letitia are not suing anybody.
Well, I guess on this day, she had decided that her and Letitia weren't going to sue anybody. But we've heard them threaten to sue how many people at this point in time? I thought they were asking for videos to be compiled for Letitia and Molly and Justin.
Listen, Letitia works and she wants to see her son.
Not really sure what Letitia having a job has anything to do with what they're talking about, but also Letitia has seen her son. She was allowed to see her son. That has already been accomplished. So why don't you start saying that?
I don't know if Danielle's pregnant, but if Danielle's pregnant, I'll pray. I'll pray for that child.
It's actually really sad to acknowledge that Molly's followers don't expect anything more out of her. They legit expect this type of behavior and these type of comments out of her. They don't expect anything more.
Danielle wrote a shit police report against Letitia.
And once again, this is why there's investigators that will dig into the situation and get to the bottom of it. That is why trained professionals handle things such
And
as
the internet
this.
doctored the crap out of it, even blocked out. Listen, I have the whole fucking thing. I've had it. We've had it.
Then why did you lie about it for so long?
Letitia didn't want no trouble, but these motherfuckers keep going on and they're jumbling everything. And that's why I kept telling you, you're all being lied to. You're all being lied to.
How exactly are we jumbling everything? Can you explain that, please, and break it down? Because this is stuff that you guys have said, your own words, things that you guys have claimed as fact.
If you want the truth, just come here and ask, say, Molly, is it true? And I will tell you. If I've been sworn to secrecy, I'll say, I can't tell you. I'm sorry. I love you. I know. I can't tell you.
So let me get this straight. Molly is being asked to keep secrets for people because they don't want any trouble. But yet, instead of keeping the secret, she chooses to lie about stuff. That's a choice she's made.
Got her full name? Yeah, it's got everything. She put a fake address. They told Letitia they don't want to deal with this shit anymore.
Again, she states that the police department is saying they don't want to deal with this anymore. But there's no proof of this, right? They don't have it in writing, nothing. And people have verified that it's still open.
They told her she has an option. It was a donation. They said you can give it to her. You're under she's under no obligation to give back the donation. That's what they told Letitia.
And this is where she once again is not being truthful about the situation. Because if it was just on somebody asking for a refund, that would be one thing. The entire basis of this fundraiser has been built off of misinformation and lies. Straight, blatant lies and misinformation that they intentionally put into the story to inflate the emotional impact and or get more donations flowing in my opinion. It has been very evident to watch that happen. Now, she herself stated that she would be issuing this refund. She messaged the person and said she would be issuing their refund. She failed to do so. So that kind of changes this being a straight refund and just a donation she doesn't want to refund. She's not really explaining everything that could be potentially an issue in this case at all, like normal.
What is this? Letitia needs to do what she needs to do to get on Dre's good side, swallow the pride and apologize and do what she needs to do to see her son.
Well, I think we all know where this is going to head, because how dare you use common sense? How dare you use common sense?
Heidi, your advice sucks.
So Molly says this advice sucks. Why wouldn't you want them to broker peace and mend this relationship? Why wouldn't that be what you want?
Are you kidding me?
Sadly, that should have been done on all sides to begin with.
You're telling me that you think that Letitia needs to kiss her ass? How about over my dead body?
How about explaining where you got that she was implying Letitia would need to kiss Dre's ass? Apologizing and admitting you're wrong and taking accountability for actions that you've done is an adult behavior. I think that's where you're confused, because you don't understand that taking accountability and apologizing to move forward for the best interest of somebody that you both claim to love would be the logical thing to do. That makes sense. But of course.
Get the fuck out of here. Yeah, Letitia has been nothing but nice to her.
And once again, conveniently, Letitia pops in the comments and says, I apologized and I've never done anything to her. But she's sitting in these lives condoning this behavior. And she still tries to pass off that she's never done anything that could be hurtful to Dre. She needs to go back and reevaluate her posts, her words, and her actions, because that says a completely different thing than what she is typing out in these comments. Her actions have spoke way louder than her words. But again, accountability would have to be taken from all parties involved. And I don't know if that's something anybody is willing to do at this point in time. It doesn't really seem like it's on the table at all.
You do know that Letitia, Mr. Marvon Sr., and Miss Wynette have been nothing but nice to her. They've all walked on eggshells with this chick, right?
So again, they're telling us that we are supposed to believe that none of the family members have done anything to cause Dre any hurt or harm. But yet this is who they're choosing to be their spokesperson. Creators like this, who have continued to push a single narrative, the same narrative that the family has been pushing. I've got a lot of questions when it comes to all of this on all sides, because in my opinion, the family is letting this continue. All of them have the power of coming out and speaking the truth and shutting this down. Any of these people could come out and own so much of this and put light onto the facts of the story from the family perspective, take accountability, and so much of this would end. But they haven't done so on any side. No family has came out and said, this is what it is. This is what it isn't. I'm sick and tired of the lies. This is somebody we love.
It's way too late for all that.
I disagree with her once again highly on this because it's never too late. Somebody needs to make an effort. I haven't seen an effort made on any sides to broker peace. It's unfortunate, but it doesn't look like it's happened at all. None of them are willing to take accountability for their actions and say, look, this is what it is. This is what it isn't. So can we just get over this so we can all focus on what actually matters? And that's Marvon. That hasn't happened. Dre attempted to apologize to Wynette and Marvon Sr. That wasn't answered or responded to. And then we've just had this continuous circle. Granted, there's siblings that are probably in communication. There's a lot going on behind the scenes. But publicly, the family could shut a lot of this down. They could say, this is what it is. This is what it isn't. We all screwed up. We all let the emotions get the best of us.
Heidi, you're please. No, just don't become a life coach. Don't even become a tour guide, okay?
Heidi, of course, please do not become a life coach because you speak rational. And obviously, that's not what life coaches are supposed to do. I got to ask you guys, though, because you've seen Letitia's comment scrolling across in these clips. What do you think of her comment? She says that she has apologized several times to Dre. She's done it on social media streams and in a text message that was written for her. So do you really consider that that's an apology from Letitia? And do you guys think that it should be accepted as an apology? In my opinion, it absolutely is a very empty apology. There is no meaning, no nothing behind it. It's a bunch of words that meant nothing to the person. It was all for a show. And that, I think, bothers me more than anything. Don't apologize if it's going to be fake like that, or if somebody else has to write it for you, because that takes all of the personal accountability out.
All right? I don't even want you working at the information desk at a mall. Don't give out advice. Just...
This lady made one comment, one valid suggestion that should be considered by all of the family members involved. She made one comment, and Molly is going on and on and on, trying to cut her down, all because she offered a logical suggestion that, hey, it's about time everybody starts acting like adults and thinks of Marvon. How dare she think logically? How dare you, Heidi? How dare you make these people actually realize that there could be another way of handling this? But of course, Molly's got to shut that down because it doesn't fit their story. It doesn't fit their narrative. So we can't go with that. And she's got to continue to shut it down and cut people down because that's just how she handles everything. She can't be an adult and actually logically think, oh, yeah, that would be a great idea. But I've maybe had a hand in pushing it too far.
Exactly, Snozberry. That is Mrs. Letitia's only fault. She's too kind. Well, you want to know something? Like they always say, no good deed goes unpunished.
I would love to know what the good deed was.
Is she trolling? God knows.
I had to laugh at this because, of course, this person would be assumed to be a troll. But what's funny about that, in my experiences, the trolls are some of the smartest people usually out here. They have logical reasoning, a lot of them.
I don't know. What she's I don't know. What is she supposed to apologize for? I'm sorry that my son was smiling and happy in that video that was put out, that he was happy to see his family. Is that what she's supposed to apologize for?
That comment is absolutely laughable. Again, this just shows the narrative and what they've done all along. They have taken a 5-minute clip where Marvon showed excitement to reconnect to his biological mother, Letitia Bias, who had put him up for adoption as a child. Marvon was excited about potentially reconnecting and rekindling their relationship at the beginning of the year. We saw a 5-minute clip of that. And yes, of course he was excited. Who wouldn't be? That's his family. But there's also hours and hours and hours of footage that's out there that shows the real side of things, the real feelings, the real emotions, the real story. Shout out Missing Puzzle Pieces. If you want to see more of that, go over there and watch them. They're there. Marvon had feelings that you guys are refusing to acknowledge.
She didn't do anything. She was out there. And now these little assholes are out there saying that there's no proof that Miss Letitia ever saw Marvon.
And that's, of course, not what's being said either. We're saying that they have claimed Letitia has been in Arizona once, twice, possibly 3 times. But we only have proof, and even that is sketchy proof that she was there 1 time. That is all we can prove based off of what you guys have posted and put out publicly. Letitia is being questioned because of her own behavior and her actions and statements you guys have made on her behalf.
There is. I have it. You won't see it, but I have it. I almost put it out, but Justin stopped me a few weeks ago. And then Letitia said, you know what? He's right.
Let's take it back for a minute right here, because we just heard that people suggested Letitia apologize. We've heard that Letitia apologized. We've seen what she supposedly said in this apology to Dre. But one thing I cannot wrap my head around is, if the apology was sincere, why did Letitia make the choice to continue to work with creators such as this that have been harming her family and or bashing her daughter-in-law for months? If her apology to Dre was meaningful, why didn't she follow up on that?
It's okay. You're not going to push me anymore.
How is this exactly pushing you, Molly? Calling you on your shit, I guess maybe it feels like it's pushing you in some way, shape, or form, because people are expecting you to be better, do better. Of course you hate being pushed, because if people expect more out of you that you can't give them, because this is who you are. This person right here is who you are. Your pattern of behavior has shown itself. This is who you are capable of being. I don't think you can do better or be better. So people pushing you to take accountability makes you uncomfortable, because you cannot take accountability for anything. It's been a pattern that we've all been able to see. More and more people are showing that this has been a pattern. And unfortunately, that pattern now has affected many other people in your path. Your behaviors and lack of accountability affects other people.
Die.
Wait, what did she just say? Let's play that again.
Die.
Molly, are you fucking kidding me right now? You are in the midst of speaking about a story that has a man in a coma. And because people are saying things that you don't agree with, that's not your opinion, you're telling somebody to die. This is how you behave. And you see nothing wrong with it. And then you continue to say that Letitia has done nothing wrong. But yet Letitia is in the comments condoning this behavior, while her son, her biological son, is in a coma. Do you all not get how sick and wrong this is? You should be disgusted about this behavior. Letitia, you should be horrified about this behavior. And all of his siblings who have sat by and watched this play out and not spoke up, you should be ashamed also.
Die.
This is the woman that you've made choices to align yourself with. This is the woman that you tried to amplify as the voice for Marvon. This is the woman who, if you make a comment she doesn't like, she's going to tell you to die. Do you not understand what the bigger picture here is at all? And why would you condone this at all?
Not looking for him. Letitia has nothing to apologize for. She's Von's mother, and that should be the most important thing. Yeah.
So because she's Marvon's biological mother, that should trump everything else. That should even trump Marvon's own feelings about what has happened to him in his life because of this woman. Do I need to remind you that she made the choice to let him be adopted? That was a choice she made. She kept his older sister. He was adopted. And then she kept the younger brother.
Read your text. Yeah, I'm not looking for one.
I apologize for her gum chewing, everybody. It is absolutely disgusting. I agree, but unfortunately, I can't change her behaviors, obviously.
What the fuck's going on upstairs? Adrian? What's going on? Did you get enough to eat? You getting ready for bed?
Oh shit. Guess who just entered the video? Hashtag Where's Walter has appeared. The voice of reason has appeared.
I'll be up in a minute. I'm just confirming.
Where's Walter is going to bed, but he's the voice of reason. We need his input on this situation. I need to hear Where's Walter's advice on this. Does he think Heidi's advice was terrible? I would love to hear what Walter has to say. Can we talk to him?
Well, yeah, I get that. I know she has nothing to apologize for. She knows that. You want to know something? Honestly, I feel
But I thought she had apologized several times.
it's disrespectful. Hey, Mama Gunner. I feel that it's disrespectful to even keep her up this late when I know she has to work.
Once again, trying to make Letitia a victim.
His charred pizza. You saw that shit? Yeah, see? They're talking about your charred pizza. Don't touch my oven again.
Hashtag Where's Walter is not in the kitchen, guys.
Ever. Smells better. Monica. Hey, Daniel. Heidi, go sit in a corner and think about what you have done.
The comments are still going on about Heidi, the voice of logic. The one comment Heidi made that was logical because she used common sense. And they're still going on with it. Her followers are trying to put Heidi in a timeout, basically, because she screwed up. How dare she suggest something logical? And Molly's followers go along with this, and they inflate these stories.
No, don't kick Heidi out. I mean, she just gives out bad, what do you call it? Listen, you can't do the gum? Yeah, me either. I normally have never chewed gum, but I'm sorry, but I'm on an all liquid diet. And I didn't mean to go live, so I probably forgot to spit it out, and I'm sorry. So anyway.
It drives me insane because even with small things like this, about somebody mentioning the gum chewing, she cannot take accountability for it. There's always an excuse. There's always an excuse for everything she does, down to chewing gum. Instead of just spitting it out, she makes excuses.
Letitia, please go get some rest. I put the nail in the coffin. That's it. It's done. Now
we all know she is not good with her word choice, but she intentionally says things like this that to me are just, they just make me cringe so much.
Little whining little jerks can stop with twisting their little stories. That's the truth. I told you the truth.
I know that a lot of people see Molly as just an entertainer, that nothing she says has any weight to it because that's how they view her. But unfortunately, a lot of people do believe her lies. She has been the one spinning this story. No facts, no proof of anything she claims. If you want to see facts and proof, go watch videos on my page. Go look on Facebook and find all the screenshots. Go do the research yourself and gather your opinion.
That's all it is. It's done. It's done. That's the truth. There's nothing more. There's nothing less. That's it. All right?
So there's nothing more or nothing less, but you're saying it's a closed investigation. The police department said they don't want to deal with this, basically. But we know that that's not true once again. It's still an open report, and there's been multiple reports. But again, you're not acknowledging that there was multiple reports. Did Letitia ask you to come on here and tell people this story? Or did you take the liberty of making up this story? And what's going to be the next story when the next piece of information comes out? Have you already thought in advance of how you're going to get in front of that?
Thanks. Good night.
So she came on to tell people that it was a real report and that she's known about it for weeks. But she lied about it for weeks. Why? Why would she lie about the report? How does that benefit Letitia? How do they think that this is what's helpful to Letitia? that continuing to lie about information like this is helpful, because all it's doing is once again showing that you guys are lying, because we can prove that there's lies in this. I don't understand why you continue to pass this story off as is when you yourself, you know that this isn't truthful. You're not being truthful. And every time something else comes out, we hear another one of these lives where, oh, well, I've known for weeks, but I was asked to be quiet. So it's not lying, basically. I've been keeping a secret. But that's not reality. That's not what's happening. Instead of being honest with your following and just saying, look, there was a report filed, this is why, and this is what it is. We don't know what the outcome is going to be. This is why professionals are handling the situation. Instead of doing that, you come out and make more excuses and more excuses. So now the next time more information drops that is factual, you're going to create another story. But instead of taking accountability for it, you pass it off on everybody else. There is no accountability whatsoever on your behalf, Justin's, Goose, or Letitia's. Zero whatsoever. Nobody is willing to stand up and say, enough is enough, and stop. And I asked myself the question of, why isn't the family standing up and doing something on any ends? Why is nobody speaking up and saying, this is what's happening? Because there's a lot of people with facts and information in this case that could answer a lot of the questions people have had and or get to an answer. There is a lot of people that do have that information that could help turn this story into something positive, that could shut down a lot of these rumors and misinformation. But they're choosing to stay silent. I don't know who they're attempting to protect or what they're doing. But I question that all the time. Why is nobody standing up and speaking the facts? I understand that people say, well, they don't want to entertain this, or, people don't want to be involved. But at the same time, this is somebody they all claim to love. And they're all sitting by silently, not saying anything, and watching somebody they love be drugged on social media over and over again. I don't understand having that power and choosing to not use it. I can't wrap my brain around that, and I continue to question all of their motives. What is the intention behind it all? Because let me tell you, if I had more of the facts or they were straightforward in the get-go, I would have never held them back. This has been absolutely painful to pull apart bit by bit and realize that people that claim to love this man have absolutely hurt him and his family. I'm not saying that they're the only ones that have any accountability to take either. That's not it. But I can't wrap my head around this. No matter how hard I try, I'm left with the same questions over and over and over again. Because, like I said, if I would have had these facts, we would have laid them out right from the get-go. I have no personal interest or personal gain in this story. I have no personal connection to any of these people. I started asking questions because it was the right thing to do. The right thing to do. There is a few of us risking and willing to stand up and speak the truth so others can see where the rights and wrongs are in this story. And I'll be very honest with you. It becomes very disheartening to see that there's family members of this man with a personal connection, a bloodline, even people that have been friends with him and known him for years have chose to sit by silently and not say anything, not speak up on all sides of it. Granted, I know that Dre has asked her followers and supporters to not say anything and not engage, which I can respect that to a point. But at some point in time, this becomes about the truth of the story. It becomes about this has gone too far. And at what point in time is enough enough? I get that they want to provide positive energy and things like that for her and, getting them through this. And again, I respect that. But I can't sit by and stay silent. Again, I have no interest in this whatsoever besides telling the truth. This is not an attack on any of the family on any ends, but they're not willing to stand up for Marvon and speak out and say, no, this is a man we all love and care about, and his name means more to us, his story, his life. So let's shut it down. There are so many facts that the family members themselves hold that could answer so many questions and provide transparency and also turn the story around. But they are all choosing to not use that ability. Again, you're allowed your opinions, and I, of course, am allowed mine. And we might not agree on everything, but I cannot wrap my head around so many of these things. I cannot sit here quietly and say that all of this is okay and it's just going to magically fix itself, because it doesn't feel like it's getting any better. It feels like it's only getting worse. Tell me what you guys think. Tell me what your honest opinions are. I would love to hear it. Again, I'm not saying that the family speaking out and saying the truth would shut this all down, because I think it would turn into a circus for a moment. But the facts are the facts. People cannot dispute the hard facts. And there are a lot of family members that have that ability to shut this down. Again, I hope that something changes soon in this story. I hope that something positive comes out of this story in some way, shape, or form. Too many people are getting hurt. Random people who donated out of the kindness of their heart are now being drugged all over social media, and nobody is attempting to put a stop to it. I don't know where we go from here. And not when I say nobody is attempting to put a stop to it, I'm not talking about all of the YouTube creators and people banding together to do something. I think that's amazing, but it's got to be more than that. This is a bigger issue than just creators on YouTube. And although we see a lot of people playing the victim card and or trying to make themselves victims of this story, that's just not the case. We have one victim in this, and that is Marvon McCray. Marvon McCray is the name that everybody should know, and the truth about Marvon McCray. That's all. That's it. Once again, thank you for sitting through another one of my videos. I appreciate you all so much. If you wouldn't mind, please give me a thumbs up on your way out. And if you wouldn't mind, please hit that subscribe button. And with that, Contessa over and out.